Kids Church. We're so excited to have you. Everybody, let's stand to our feet and get ready to worship. Now I have two friends that are going to share an amazing story about what it means to be hopeful during Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge!
There's nothing merry about Christmas. Every year I get my hopes up and every year I'm disappointed. I used to like Christmas, but I mustn't be bothered any longer with such petty and meaningless things.
Hey! I'm Hope the Angel! Mr. Scrooge, that's your name, right?
Ebenezer?
Oh, what about having a turkey dinner with friends and family?
Nope, I don't like it.
Well, hold on, I think I have an idea. What about sitting by the fire with hot chocolate, listening to music with all your friends and family?
I can't stand Christmas music. It's simply ridiculous.
Well, I know. What about all the pretty Christmas decorations? Oh, I just love the lights, don't you?
The lights, don't even get me started about the lights. They hurt my eyes, they give me a headache. I can't stand them.
Mr. Scrooge, if you don't mind me asking, what do you mean you always get your hopes up?
Every year, I hope that someone will get me a puppy for Christmas, and it never happens. If I can't get a puppy for Christmas, I don't want Christmas at all.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, Mr. Scrooge, that you haven't gotten a puppy for Christmas, but Christmas is more than just getting gifts and eating good food and listening to Christmas carols or all the pretty lights. Christmas is about the hope that Jesus brings. A hope that is better than any gift we could ever hope for. Today's story, I have a friend who's going to come tell us, is about a time that seemed pretty dark, but then God gave his people something to hope for.
Bah humbug.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how he created us and loves us so much that he made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 6.
Jess stared out the window at the ice beating down. Every holiday plan for the weekend had been canceled. And to top it off, the school had just released Jess's most recent grades.
A D in language arts? What happened, Jess?
I don't know.
You're such a good storyteller.
I can't make all the words work out when I try to write it down. Can I go play Mindstorm?
Hun, you need to read for an hour first.
An hour? I thought it was 30 minutes.
Your teacher and I talked. We think a little more reading time will help.
Jess glared.
I don't have anything to read.
You've got an entire bookshelf in your room.
Those are little kid books.
Then look at Emma's bookshelf.
Emma was Jess's older sister, already in high school.
Fine, whatever.
Jess stalked upstairs to Emma's room, peeked inside. The room was empty, but everything was neatly organized. Emma had even done all of the colorful artwork on her own walls.
Miss Perfect.
Jess sighed. Everything seemed to come easily to Emma. Writing, math, friends, life.
I'll probably be stuck in 5th grade for the rest of my life.
Jess stood in front of Emma's bookshelf, running her finger over the thick spines. At last, a swirl of color on the bottom shelf caught her eye.
Comic book Bible. Huh.
Jess thumped down onto the floor and pulled the book off the shelf. She flipped it open, and color exploded off the page.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
The images of creation were vivid and detailed, as if she were right there.
Huh. Pretty cool.
Jess found herself drawn into the familiar stories, seeing and hearing them in a brand new way. Moses and the Red Sea, the fall of Jericho, David and Goliath, Esther boldly approaching the king, David's incredible poetry in the Psalms.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
After the Psalms, though, Jess paged into unfamiliar territory.
Isn't Daniel in the lion's den around here somewhere? Who's this guy?
Jess stared at a man with a long white beard, using a quill to scribble on a scroll.
A child will be born to us, a son will be given to us. He will rule over us, and he will be called Wonderful Advisor and Mighty God. He will also be called Father who lives forever, and Prince who brings peace.
Hey!
Jess nearly dropped the book. She glanced up to see Emma standing in the doorway.
What are you doing in my room?
Mom said I could pick a book.
Well, ask next time, okay?
I didn't touch anything.
Okay, it's fine.
Emma settled down on the floor beside Jess and took a look at the book.
Aunt Chris gave me this book when I started high school.
It's pretty cool. I mean, until this part. It's kind of hard to make a guy writing a letter exciting.
Jess pointed out Mr. Whitebeard.
Oh, you mean Isaiah?
Who's he talking about? Jesus?
Yeah, but it's way more amazing when you look at the big picture. You see, God's people were in big trouble. Over and over, the Israelites promised to love and obey God. And then every single time, they turned their backs on him.
Turned their backs? Like how?
Well, they'd start praying to false gods like other nations around them, trying to do things their own way. So, God allowed them to be captured by other nations.
Emma flipped back, showing images of battles, powerful foreign kings, groups of captives.
The Israelites got in really big trouble. Things looked hopeless.
So God just ditched them?
No way. Every single time, God showed he was still with them. He sent kings who loved God like David and Solomon and Josiah. And he sent prophets like Elijah and Isaiah to speak God's truth and hope to the people.
Even though they totally messed up?
Yep. Through it all, God promised that he was going to send someone who would rescue them forever.
Jess flipped back to Isaiah and read slowly.
A child will be born to us, a son will be given to us. He will rule over us.
That's only one prophecy. There are hundreds of prophecies in the Old Testament that talk about Jesus coming.
Jess nodded, trying to take it in.
That's a lot of promises.
And God came through. The Israelites had to wait a long time, but God kept every single one of those promises when he sent Jesus to live on earth.
His very own son.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem and all that. You can take the book if you want.
Emma tapped the comic book Bible. Jess smiled.
Does God promise that I'll get a better grade in language arts?
No, but he does promise to be with you and give you the patience and courage you need to keep working on it.
They both listened to the ice rattling against the window.
Hey, you want to play Mindstorm?
Sure, just let me read a little more first.
Emma gave a thumbs up, and Jess settled back down to keep reading. She paged forward to the book of Luke, eager to see for herself again how God had delivered on his promise to send a Savior.
Now, Mr. Scrooge, can't you see that there's so much more we can be excited for than gifts on our Christmas list and listening to Christmas songs?
I still don't quite understand what else there could possibly be that could make Christmas any less awful than it has been in the past.
Do you remember in the story, we learned that the Israelites were in a really dark place and nothing was going their way. And even though it seemed like nothing good could possibly happen, God was able to give them something to look forward to with the promise of a Savior. Just like the Israelites, even when things don't go our way, or we don't get the gifts we wanted, we can still have hope because we know that God keeps his promises. And he showed us this by sending his son Jesus, and he's the greatest gift of all.
Oh, that makes sense. I've never thought of it that way. Maybe there is more to Christmas than gifts. Maybe it will be better this year. Who knows?
Wow! Mr. Scrooge! Do you see that on your head? I think you must have gotten just a little more hopeful.
Oh, bah humbug. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. I still don't understand why everyone is so happy with all the awful music and ugly lights.
What a great reminder about what hope is. Now you're gonna pause the video and complete your Sunday School Week 1 activities. Great job completing those activities. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have an awesome week.